Hello, my Zebras and Spoonies. Thanks for coming and hanging out with me today. I am glad that you are here. Today, I am going to be talking about my experience with atopic dermatitis. It's an installment in the My Diagnosis series. I know it isn't a Wednesday, but this is the last one in the series, and I wanted to get it posted while there were spoons available to get that done. And yeah, this is the last post in the series. I'm not sure what I will do for the next series, but I am sure that something is going to present itself. If you have any suggestions, just throw them in the comments because I would love to hear them. So, atopic dermatitis, or AD, is the most common type of eczema. AD is caused by an overactive immune system that leads to inflammation that damages the skin barrier. This causes a person to experience rashes, itching, and dry skin. And there is also a color change associated with this. That's a redness if you have light skin, and it is a purplish tone if you have dark skin. There is a high comorbidity rate between AD and asthma and food allergies, and this makes sense as those are also conditions that are caused by an overactive immune system. So AD normally begins in childhood and most often when a person is still an infant. And like other chronic illnesses, AD will have periods where your symptoms improve, and it will have periods when your symptoms get worse or flare up. And also, like most every other chronic illness, there are things that will trigger the symptoms, and those triggers vary significantly from person to person. What pretty common ones are various dyes, perfumes, detergents, soaps, and things that come in contact with your skin. So, itching is the hallmark symptom of AD, with some data showing that as many as 85% of people with the condition experience this symptom every day. Sore or painful skin and poor sleep caused by itching are also common. And people with AD can get rashes anywhere on their body, and they can have oozing or weeping fluid or bleeding when the rashes are scratched. And this can make the skin vulnerable to infection. Skin can become dry and discolored, and repeated scratching can cause thickening and hardening, and this process is called lichenification, as in like trees and stuff. Yeah. So I'm amongst those that experience itching on a daily basis, and there are times that it is so severe that I can't focus on anything else because I am just so uncomfortable in my own skin. However, I am lucky because my case of AD is in the mild category, and this means that I can mostly control my symptoms by avoiding triggers. It is also essential that I have good skincare program and that I stick to it or my skin will get bad pretty quickly. This means that I have to avoid most kinds of soap. I use the CeraVe skin products as they are very friendly to my skin and they don't cause my skin to flare up and get angry. I have to use particular types of detergent and dryer sheets or my skin gets angry. My skin is always dry, and because of this, I can't wash it too frequently or it will become so dry that it will crack and peel. That means I only shower once a week, and more than that, and my skin is just an absolute train wreck. Of course, most people are very judgmental about the showers, but that's just how it is. You have to do what your body needs. So the first place that I usually start breaking out into a rash is around my mouth and nose. The perioral rash has gotten pretty bad at times with inflammation, redness, and the scaling, flaking skin. And it's in a place that can't easily be hidden. Well, until recently. Now that I'm wearing a mask all the time, no one would see this kind of rash. But it is pretty crappy because it leaves me feeling pretty self-conscious all the time. I know that people are wondering about the rash, and occasionally I have had people outright ask me if it is something that was contagious. When it comes to AD, I don't think that people realize how awful the constant itching can be. There's nothing that makes it stop, ever. It's just a matter of how bad the itching is currently. And I also have a connective tissue disorder that makes my skin more fragile, which means that I can cause my skin to tear when I'm scratching myself. So I have to keep my nails dull because I will scratch myself when I'm not thinking about it or even in my sleep. And the skin infections are awful. I am constantly fighting skin infections. This is partly because the scratching causing open areas, but it is also just part of having AD. Research show that some people with eczema, especially atopic dermatitis, have a mutation of the gene responsible for creating filaggrin. And filaggrin is a protein that helps our bodies maintain that healthy protective barrier on the top layer of the skin. And without enough filaggrin to build a strong skin barrier, moisture can escape and bacteria, viruses, or yeast can enter into our skin. And this is why many people with AD have very dry, infection-prone skin. I personally am constantly fighting off yeast infections on my skin. Whenever you have an infection, it uses energy and resources that are in a finite supply, and this means that there will be fewer spoons to deal with other things. This means that when I have a yeast infection on my skin, I will be more tired than usual, I'll have less spoons than usual. Anytime there's an additional demand on my body, there's a chance that it will trigger a flare of one of my other chronic illnesses. And this is because keeping everything under control is a careful balance that requires spoons to be able to maintain that balance. So it means that while the infection itself isn't very serious, it has wide-reaching impacts on my health and well-being. AD also has an impact on mental health. I constantly struggle with rejection sensitivity dysphoria, or RSD, and when I am not feeling that I'm looking my best, it is much more difficult to be confident in social situations. And this means that having an AD rash, especially a part on my body that I can't easily cover up with clothing, is going to affect how I engage with other people. When I have a rash on my face, I will spend most of the time I talk with someone wondering if they are staring at my rash. And that doesn't make for good engagement with other people. It just feels like a giant elephant in the room to me. So yeah, it's less than awesome. So that's about it for my rambling today. Thanks for coming and spending some time with me. If you like the video, click the like button. It really does help. And until we talk again, you guys be sure to take care of yourselves, okay? Bye.